In the summertime, when the weather is hot, you can shush right up and touch the sky. When the weather is fine, you got movies on your mind.
L squared.
What's going on, you loyal listeners? Thank you for tuning in to the L Squared podcast. I am your host, as per the usual. That was totally planned. We meant that to happen. As I was saying, I am Luke Larson here, and joining me today is my lovely and loquacious special guest. We've been putting out ads on Monster. I don't even know if that website's up anymore. Helpwanted.com. Apartments.com. Chef Goldblum. I'm trying to get people in, but it's been tough to get interviews, and people I do come in, it's just like, it's like I might as well overpay you to stay here, basically.
Right, it's like quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, it is.
I'm like the Mike Glennon of
right.
podcast guests.
Yep.
Like, I'm getting paid $15 million a year for really,
just standing around.
Yeah, just
you can do a pretty good dumb face, just like Mike Glennon. Ooh, there it is. If only you could see it. That man who's going to be assisting me in leisurely launching you into levity is the one, the only, Old Legs. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a little bit.
What up?
What up?
It's been a minute.
Yeah. I've been itching hard to do another one of these. I've been
itching like John Turturro and The Night Of. Itching that athlete's foot. Itching that eczema. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. That was a reference to television, which he doesn't watch.
You could tell by my... I did not respond. Just said, I understand. Yes, of course.
Correct.
So, another thing I understand, #segues, is that you had an interesting experience not too long ago at a theater.
Yes. As in, I went to the Alamo Drafthouse.
Omaha, Nebraska.
I saw some movies. 2 movies. We were gonna see 3, but we were late for the second. And I like their policy. If you're late, you're not getting in.
Now that speaks volumes about this place. I've been once. This was your first time going. This place is like you had stated. Like, if I was gonna build a theater, this is exactly what it would be. I mean,
makes sense. So the whole kind of thing, like the gimmick, I don't even know if you call it a gimmick, is that it's just it's a full service theater. So they basically cut out like the dinner in a movie, they cut out the dinner, and it's all in one. So you get your dinner with the movie, okay? Which is pretty appealing.
Yeah. I'd say
it's appealing.
I mean, how far did you drive to go there?
2 hours.
2 hours. So, and right when you came back, you said, I can't wait to go again. Like, we should make this like monthly thing.
Yeah.
We make the trek, dude.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing too is they have good taste there. They play a lot of limited releases. The reason that we went so the 2 movies that we ended up seeing were Your Name. It came out last year. It was basically turned in like the highest grossing animated movie in Japanese box office history. So the dubbed version of that was just completed, and it's now starting to make its rounds around the USA. So I'm sure that people are going to go see it. That movie was really good.
So Your Name. So it's just
Your Name.
So when you went to it, it was Old Legs or Jordan Nice's.
Yeah, it's whatever your
name is the whole movie.
Your name. Yeah.
So if I would go, it'd be Luke Larson, host of the L Squared podcast.
Yeah, and so this movie it follows two high school high school kids, one boy, one girl. They live separately. The boy lives in Tokyo, the girl lives kind of rural area Japan. And they have these episodes where they switch bodies, and they basically, once they understand what's happening, they start kind of leaving messages for each other, like through like their cell phone or through, you know, whatnot, like writing on each other's hand. And yeah, it goes from there. And there's a comet in the sky. And that's all I want to say about this movie. But
Yeah.
I will say there's a little bit of element of fantasy. There's element, you know, body swapping, always fun.
Freaky Friday.
There's also some time. So anytime you have any type of, you know,
Time travel.
paradoxes, time travels, makes for some interesting.
Sounds like a coming of
points.
age too, a little bit.
A little bit. It's not like too much coming of age. I'll get to the next coming of age movie that I saw.
But they are teenagers, so they are coming of age.
Yes.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's really well done. I thought it was really interesting. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but
It's yet to be proven.
right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna leave that one there.
Jury's still out. Let us know, loyal listeners.
Right. But I thought that the plot moved in a way that you were not quite there until like the reveal, like just kind of time and time again. It didn't give you too much to where you were just like, oh, this is what we're doing here. It always kind of left you hanging, and I really appreciated that about the plot. So I thought it was really interesting, and it was a good movie.
Yeah, I had heard about this one a couple months ago. Chris Stuckman, movie reviewer, my guy, when he was in LA, he saw it in some tiny little whatever theater that are just everywhere in LA where they can see shit, you know, whatever. He doesn't live in LA, but he was there, whatever. But yeah, he had talked about it. He had said a lot of good things
It'll
about
be interesting
it.
to see if this picks up any steam in the United States. It certainly could.
Maybe have the days of, God, what's his name? With Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle and Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah.
Are his days gone?
Well, that's the thing is the guy, I don't know it off the top of my head, the director of this movie, but he's been basically hailed as the next. You know, and it is very, you can see like the studio, what is it, Studio
Ghibli?
Ghibli.
Or whatever, yeah.
You can see a lot of like kind of heavily borrowed from that as far as just like the kind of pulling out like the landscaping and just kind of like making kind of like beautiful out of the mundane type. There's a lot of that in this. It's a gorgeous film just to look at as far as like the animation is like absolutely top notch amongst like, you know, hand drawn, and it's a nice like departure from, you know, kind of the American style, which is like Pixar and
The 3D animation.
yeah, which is good. But I mean, it's just kind of
It's
a
good
nice
break.
Yeah, it's a
almost
nice
like a throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at
And
us, the same word at the same time.
Yeah. So, Your Name. I liked it. Go check it out. I think it's better the less you know about it, so I don't think I gave away too much there, but
Comment sounded like a spoiler, but
yeah, there's comment in the air. So, yeah. Who knows?
So-
Might be an interesting point in the movie. You know, might want
maybe this one
to keep an eye on it.
maybe this one takes place before the dinosaurs. Maybe that's the comet that blew up the Earth.
Right. It's the dawn of the dinosaurs.
Ah.
Dawn of the... No, we're not going
Of the
to...
no. So you said you had was it another coming of age movie that you saw?
Yet again. We ended up with a double feature. Another coming of age movie. This one was a French cannibal coming of age movie. And yeah, it's a movie by the name of Raw, also Grave. I think if you type both of those in, you'll kind of get the actual thing. Because otherwise, you're just going to get, you know, WWE. So yeah, Raw. This is a movie, I think it made some waves at the Toronto Film Festival. There was some like reports of people, you know, having to be, you know, EMTs called and, you know, people traumatized and puking, fainting, whatnot.
Yeah, sure.
I have to say, I think that's a little overblown.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of media. It probably happened to people who had queasy stomachs, but any press is good press. I guess.
Okay, so this movie, before I get into it, I supremely enjoyed this movie. And it's a hard one to admit because this is like cannibalism.
Coming from a guy who hated
is getting its moment.
Who hated nocturnal animals.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
That
movie sucked.
Hated.
The movie sucked.
It was great.
It was terrible.
What are you talking about?
God.
Do you like people eating each other more?
All right, you haven't seen it, so let me start it out here. Okay, don't even bring up this movie sucked. It was just joyless, lifeless movie.
Yes, just like my life.
Terrible. Okay, so Raw. So this movie, it's a French movie, so I don't really know how much it's gonna pick up here in America. It might be pretty tough to see, but it's a movie about it's a family of vegetarian veterinarians.
That's fun to say.
And the mother and the father, they're bringing their daughter, who is teenager, probably 16 or 17, to college to become a vet.
Does it take place in France?
I'm assuming.
What? It's just not said.
No.
Okay.
So they're all vegetarians. She goes, and I'll just say that this veterinary school, they spend their days cutting open calves and horses, and then they spend their nights flirting with alcohol poisoning. It's basically like a.
It sounds a lot like your life right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So the girl, she gets there. She has a sister who's also in the program. She's an upperclassman, and the upperclassmen take great pride in basically hazing the shit out of the first years.
Yeah.
So that's like a majority of the movie, and kind of probably a larger theme is just kind of like hazing.
Hazing bad.
So obviously I said cannibalism. The girl.
Everybody checked out when you said that. So many people are just like, nope, never gonna see it.
So this movie, obviously it's about kind of like a down spiral into what the main character, the girl, I think her name is Justine. She develops a taste after tasting, and like this, I don't know what they give her, like some kind of like rabbit kidney or something like that she has to eat for like an initiation. And she starts to develop a taste. Her sister is not a great sister. She kind of puts her in some compromising situations.
I think we all have a sister like that.
But the thing that I kind of appreciated about this movie is that it's actually, it could have been like a vampire movie. It has like everything there for it's just to be like, okay, a vampire movie. It could also be a zombie movie. Okay.
Those are all the rage.
It doesn't really allow the characters like a zombie movie. Like, at least the zombie has like the decency of being undead, so it's eating people, but it's undead. So it's not really, there's no real like humility there.
Right. No humanity. And it's just.
And then the vampire thing is so overdone and so kind of like, oh, you're a vampire, like you're cool, Yeah. This movie really kind of strips it down because it's about eating, like the physical eating flesh, swallowing it, having it in your stomach. Whereas like we're not sucking blood here, we're not undead, and it's kind of like a. I thought it was just very tactfully done, and I think it's completely overblown, like the whole like people passing out and stuff like that, because the blood is fewer and farther in between than you would think. Obviously, there's like shock and awe moments, which kind of make this movie like whoa, but
yeah, I mean, I think what that kind of reminds me of is like when Paranormal Activity was coming out, and there were all those news reports of people who having seizures and having ambulances called and having to be pulled out of theaters.
Right.
And then you see the movies and you're like, no. Like, there were some jump out moments. Those people, I'm sure, suffered from having seizures a lot. So it could have just been like this type of thing where somebody just had a queasy stomach or didn't. But you should probably know a little bit before going in. But you said, so basically saying it overcomes the stigma of just being like, it's gross. Like Green Inferno that came out a year or two ago.
That was the Eli Roth.
Yeah, the cannibals in South America was like, they're eating. It's gross. Classic Eli Roth premise for a movie.
Yeah, I thought everything was deserved here. I thought the acting, the directing, the score were all top notch. And I could see where it's absolutely grotesque and it's absolutely bloody, and that will turn many people off. But I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary of like, I don't think it's anything like, you know, like I was like sitting here like, whoa, like I've never seen anything like this, you know. I mean, even for, you know, an international film, which like some of them can be like a little bit like, you know, overly over the top, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't really going for that, and it did have something to say. The ending was great. It left you a little bit to chew on.
That's salty.
Yeah.
Is the ending a comment? Is there a comment that comes by in this one too?
No comments.
Or the sisters actually switch bodies?
No.
Wow.
No switching bodies. No comments.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Just it was good.
So for people who checked out when you said cannibal movie, do you think that those people would be able to enjoy this movie and be able to see the beauty of it and be able to look past the grotesqueness and enjoy it?
No.
Okay, moving on.
No.
There's no way.
If you have any like sort of pause about, you know, blood, gore, I don't know.
You probably won't want
No.
to get. Just skip
Sorry.
this one.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, you know, I don't know if you picked up on that intro. Summer is fast approaching. It seems like the summer movie season starts earlier and earlier. Each passing year, the blockbusters coming out sooner and sooner. So we figured it'd be a good time to kind of lay out what big movies are coming out this summer. Summer is really the season where most people go to the movies. So we're just going to do an in and out segment, just kind of go through some of the big blockbusters, and we're going to, you know, talk about them, see if we're going to see them, and then if we think the people out there should check them out. So, oh boy, is this one up first? This is maybe your favorite franchise of all time?
So we got so like Luke alluded to, the summer blockbuster. It's almost what is it, like 6 to 8 months now?
Yeah,
summer movies.
Almost.
I mean, we've almost, you know, we've already had John Wick, we've already had Wolverine, we've had, you know, some pretty like, you know, pretty big things coming out.
Now Beauty and the Beast was the big
right. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, this week we have coming out The Fate of the Furious, Fast 8. I really do enjoy these movies, and yeah, it's such a it's probably one of my biggest guilty pleasures. I think 4 through 7 are some of the best filmmaking of the last 20 years.
Ridiculous. No,
Corona fueled greatness.
So gross.
So Fast 8's coming out. This is the first non-Paul, well, not non-Paul Walker one, but since his passing.
Yeah.
Of course. I think a lot of
Thank God.
I mean,
just kidding.
I think a lot of people that, you know, aren't very intelligent thought, oh, wow, you know, that's the end of the Fast and the Furious movies, you know, Paul Walker died. And I'm like, come on. Don't say such things.
You know better than that.
We know there's going to be at least, we got at least 10, right?
Yeah,
We're
obviously.
We're on the next trilogy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Here's the thing with these.
What do you think?
Give
Give me your spiel.
Well,
In or out?
okay. I'm out. But
Out.
yeah, but because I know that this is a huge fan base, and I like that people like them, and I like that this is that type of movie where it's like, yeah, we're big and we're dumb and we don't give a shit. Like they know exactly what they are, and they're not afraid to hide it. It's not like they're trying to do something else. They're not taking themselves too seriously,
Right.
which is like the worst thing you could do. So I don't mind, like, it's not like I see it and I just hate it. They're just not really for me. I think I saw Fast Five, and I actually really liked it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is like more of an action movie than a racing movie. Like, I was kind of in, and then I saw...
Fast Five is the pinnacle of the
Yeah,
series.
I think so,
I
too.
think it's the best, like the most satisfying beginning to end. And
Of any of them, yeah.
yeah, I think so without a doubt. And yeah, there is lulls with this series. Like 2 and 3 are pretty forgettable, I think.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I was thinking about this a couple days ago that this is probably like, I couldn't think of another like non-IP based franchise that has 8 films. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I
like
can't either.
Bond. I mean, even Bond.
That
is,
was
like,
based off
of-
novels, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Harry
don't know.
Potter based off of a book.
Hmm.
Die Hard, I guess. I don't know how many Die Hards are there.
5?
5, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got it's
gotta
100% gotta be, right?
And I think where it started, like, basically is like Point Break,
Point Break.
with street racing.
Which I was kind of stupidly out on to start with, because I'm like, come on.
Yeah, come on.
But then, like, you're like, you know, Point Break with cars is
It's pretty
cool.
cool.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, and it's whatever. But like, yeah, so I like 5. But then I saw 6, and I was like, okay, I'm out. Like, I just saw 6, didn't really like it, and was like, just so I didn't see 7, and probably won't see 8.
Yeah. I'll say that I'm in on 8, but I think I'm ready. Like, if this is like my foray kind of out of the series, I could definitely see that. I think this has like the most. This is the most likely to disappoint in like the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 movies since 4. Because you think about it, Tokyo Drift 3, then you have Dom Totoro coming back at the end of that, which God knows how they had him do a cameo at the end of Tokyo Drift. Like, I don't know how much money they had to pay him. And
I don't know.
and why would they would make Tokyo Drift, like, knowing that he's signed on for the next movie? Like, I don't know.
It didn't make a lot
It'd
of
be
sense.
a great, like an oral history of this series would be kind of great to hear. You know, just like
Yeah, that would be
you know,
interesting.
like just kind of like stop by stop how everything kind of fell together. But
Sure.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, everyone knows about these movies, so I mean, the trailers, you know, Charlize Theron has seduced, you know, Vin Diesel, and you know, this one's not about family.
Yeah.
Some of them are about family, but hey, you know what? Spoiler alert! I bet the movie ends with them having a barbecue and a bunch of Coronas, and they're all friends again. And I bet Charlize Theron isn't invited.
Wow.
So I don't know. I haven't seen
Spoiler
the movie.
alert.
I didn't get an advanced screening, but I don't
We're working
know.
on that.
So, all right. So we got Luke's out on the Fate of the Furious. I am in. Next.
Okay. This one, before taping, I said, we don't need to talk about this. But,
We do have to talk about it.
So, what's it, King Arthur?
No, just try to guess like what it is. Guess what the title of the movie is.
King Arthur, I don't know, Birthright, Resurrection,
For the last like anytime like this has been brought up in conversation, I've been like, that Guy Ritchie Sword in the Stone movie with Charlie Hunnam, like that one, right? And it's just like, oh yeah, this is like King Arthur, and I'm like, yeah, it might be like. Yeah, so this one's called King Arthur: Legend of the Sword. Yeah. Okay, not based upon pre-existing IP.
No, this
at all.
is
This is an original screenplay.
based off true events.
Yes. And if you know anything about us, we have a special affection towards The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Guy Ritchie directed, and
it's an American classic.
our uncle expert, Chuck, our resident uncle expert,
Mhm.
he's pretty excited for this movie. He hopes the plot is as convoluted and confusing as Man from U.N.C.L.E. is, and
I think
by all means, I think it's going to be. You have Jude Law shooting fireballs. You have a giant army. It looks like they used like B-roll from that Mark Wahlberg Great Wall movie.
it was
They kind of just
Matt
they're just
Damon.
like splicing. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
one of the Boston boys.
What? Yeah, he's like we going to the wall.
We're going to the wall.
We're going to the wall. Yeah, it looks like they kind of like splice footage from that film, and then maybe a couple others. Maybe they like took some,
Gross.
I don't even know. Name any film. This
Lost
this
in
movie
Space.
This movie looks bad. There might be some scenes from Lost in Space.
God, I don't know, man. It just doesn't look good. How has there ever been? This is a better question. Has there ever been a good King Arthur movie? Like, it's a great story, and I love the story, but like, I mean, Sword in the Stone by Disney was pretty good, but that told the story of the kid before he was King Arthur. But like every single King Arthur, I can't think of like. Well, I guess what was that one last where Sean Connery was King Arthur with Guinevere and what's his face. But it was okay, but it wasn't even really about King Arthur.
Right. Isn't there like that? Isn't there like an Orlando Bloom one?
Kingdom of Heaven?
Kingdom of Heaven?
I don't think that's about King Arthur, though.
Okay. Well, it has like the word king in it.
That's true.
It seems
You're not
like,
wrong.
isn't it sword and sandals? Kinda?
Yeah, it is.
So, could be.
Close enough.
Close enough for me.
What was that one with Colin Farrell? That was called, or not Colin Farrell, Clive Owen, was it?
Clive Owen.
Was that Ridley Scott directed it? It wasn't that good.
Moses? Was it
No,
Moses?
not Noah.
Or no?
No, it was a King Arthur movie with
Yeah.
Colin Farrell, but
I think that's a podcast on up to itself. Like good King Arthur movies. Just name them.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
let's
we
go.
don't even have to talk about it. We just have to think of them.
Just sitting here like, I don't know. I think it's
okay.
plagued.
So since it's Guy Ritchie, and since I took such like joy in just mindlessly watching Man from U.N.C.L.E. over and over,
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna watch this. I'm probably in. I might not be like in as in go to the theaters in, but
Yeah. Okay.
at
Well,
some point I'm gonna see it.
I'll say, if it's just me, I'm out. But I'd be in if I saw it with you and a resident uncle, Chuck. Then I think I'd probably be in.
Right on.
But
Speaking of,
Ridley Scott. Didn't I say Ridley Scott directed that Arthur with Colin Farrell? Either way, close enough to his segue. This is interesting. Alien Covenant. Fun fact, I just bought Alien on Blu-ray and watched it. I think that might have been the first time in a long time that I've seen it and was like, this is such a good movie. So I'm hot take. It's
Hot
really
take.
good.
Alien, good movie.
It's pretty good, guys.
Not bad.
Check it out. But it definitely has my blood pumping, man. Like, just
it's a horror film,
but
in space.
right. That's like the original.
It's the Pope, except he's young.
Dope, dope pitch.
My Don Draper.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of. I don't know. Like I said, I'm all in on Alien. Like I have that itch for it. I have the taste in my mouth right now. I'm ready for another one. Ridley Scott just did The Martian, which I liked. I know you didn't, but at least it was a more competently directed film than he's done in a while.
Right.
So, and actually, I liked Prometheus.
Do you understand the backlash against Prometheus? Because I like Prometheus as well. Like, and I didn't.
I want to do a real.
Oh, you want to do it?
There we go.
Okay.
To pick it up on
So,
that was a high five.
I didn't get it. Like, I really enjoyed that movie.
I did too.
I didn't really understand people who went into it thinking he was gonna, like, you know, solve the mysteries of the universe. You know, it didn't make sense to me. Like, on those fronts, like people that, I want answers. You know, I'm like, for one, I think you're giving him too much credit because this series doesn't really ask a whole lot of like profound questions, in my opinion. I mean, you have the xenomorphs, and you have usually a cyborg, and you usually have some government who's trying to get one of them back to Earth so they can weaponize them. That's all there is to this series.
Game over, man.
You know?
Fucking Bill Paxton's dead.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
And yeah, so like I just didn't understand all the backlash for it. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to Alien Covenant. I'm really excited about the cast. Obviously, you know, anytime you have James Franco, Danny McBride, you know, the host of people in this movie are gonna be like, you know,
yeah,
I'm loving it.
Michael Fassbender, Avi, he was one of the best parts of that other one. The other one, Prometheus. Prometheus was one where I was just, like, confused, because that was when they were like, no, it's not an Alien prequel, or whatever, or, like, in the Alien universe, who cares about timelines at this point? But,
right.
I went to it on a date, which is not, like, a great date movie, and I actually ended up really liking it. She hated it. Didn't work out between us.
I'm almost positive I did the same thing.
Really?
And it was like, we were a couple seconds away from, you know, calling the EMT during the emergency C-section.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Not a date movie.
Not a good date movie. We learned that. But yeah, like just looks like another contained bottleneck movie. You know, like you said, the cast is great. I'm all in. I'm all in on this.
Oh yeah, and like I think it's silly to like expect like some grandiose statement from these movies. I mean, what's like the constant in all these movies? You have a cast of, you know, interesting misfits who, you know, who are going to check out some aliens, and you know, one of them's gonna get their face snatched, and there's gonna be, you know, chest explosions. Probably, I think I saw in the trailer some crazy
they have to
back stuff. You know, it's like
they have to.
You know, I understand what I'm paying for. You know, so
yeah,
I'm down.
All in. Boom.
Next.
Oh gosh.
This might be. I'm gonna call it right now. This might be the summer movie of the year. The one that wins the summer. Okay?
Not money wise, but
I think it could do both.
okay.
I definitely think
there's one that we haven't talked about yet that I think will probably win the whole thing.
So I think this has got a shot. Baywatch.
Watch out for the Bay.
So this one, you know, obviously The Rock, Zac Efron, Alexander Daddario. I think this one's got a pretty good, strong case for it's gonna make a ton of money.
Yep.
Just because The Rock is, you know, he's getting shaded under a money tree.
Oh yeah, he's the hot commodity.
Dude works.
I respect him big time because he's not phoning it in, and he's working all the time, just constantly. Absolutely. And he's good. And even the shitty stuff he does, you're like, this dude has come a long way since Scorpion King.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about this movie. I just know that it's pre-existing IP. It's going to be during the summer. It's, you know, it's gonna definitely feel that kind of nostalgia that really doesn't actually do anything for the previous series. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like it's like Power Rangers. Like it's like, oh, it's nostalgic. It's like, whoa, Power Rangers. But it has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
Power Rangers of the '90s. And I think it's gonna like kind of fill that. Like people are gonna go in thinking like, oh yeah, Baywatch, but I mean it's something completely different and probably better.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't think Baywatch is anything that should be like held esteemed. This,
right,
what this is reminding me of this far as what I think this could be, is like this year's 21 Jump Street.
okay,
Like pre-existing thing. It was popular enough to be known. It wasn't ever like
right.
great. And this looks like just a reimagining and just like fun, funny, vulgar.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's always that one movie during the summer that's like the perfect action comedy, and it kind of just takes the throne as like the action comedy of the summer, and there's always, room for that. It's one of my favorite genres.
If there isn't, there's always, you feel the
something will come along.
Yeah, something will fill that void.
So this could be it. I'm not saying it will be, but I think it's got basically everything.
So
To make a bajillion dollars,
yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, I think base expectations. I think go into this expecting a big, loud, fun summer movie, and you'll have a great time. And I think a lot of people, that's all they want. So I'm in, man, big time.
4 for 4.
4-4.
I'm in.
Schnigoosh.
What do we got next?
I think you have the wrong one.
Pirates of the Caribbean. So no, let's let our viewers. So we have Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Now, before you say anything, you're saying they made a movie based on that shitty ride at Disney World?
So here's what I'll say: if we would have done this entire segment talking about Pirates of the Caribbean: The Black Pearl, I wouldn't have known that I pulled up the wrong one on IMDb. Like, I just straight up wouldn't have known.
You would have just kept calling it the Black Pearl.
Absolutely, yeah. That's how very little I'm invested in this series. I don't even know which one this is. Like, you could like psych me again and be like, "This actually is the one that's coming out." And I'd be like, "Ah, you got me again!" Like, so.
I don't know.
I don't actually know what the title is.
Is it?
I don't think it's important.
Is it the sixth one? Or the seventh one? I know it's got Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Of course.
A different pirate saying.
Okay. So
this one has the
Take
Javier
the reins here.
Bardem. Okay. Javier Bardem, Johnny Depp is back. Captain Jack Sparrow searches for the Trident of Poseidon. Whatever the fuck. Look, these movies, I love the first one. It's really good. The second one isn't as good, but it's still fun, like the first one. And then the third one firmly shoves its head up its own ass. And then ever since then, it just keeps going further and further up its own ass. So at this point, I don't really care. I love Javier Bardem because he's, forever Anton Chigurh. And that's one of my favorite movies of all time, No Country for Old Men.
is he going to have like a tentacle beard, do you think?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I don't know much about these movies, but I do know that the bad guy has a tentacle beard.
Yep, every time.
So,
yeah, it's just, but I am getting sick of Javier Bardem just being the go-to. Like, oh, we're just gonna give him a villain role, and he'll have his accent, and he'll be cool. Like it's happening way too much, and this series is over for me. And now when I see this, I just keep thinking of that video that Amber, what's her face? Johnny Depp's ex-wife. Did they break up? She's an actress.
Amber Heard?
Yeah, Amber Heard. That video she released while they were filming this, where Johnny Depp was like pissed because she hid the wine or something, and he threw a wine glass at her, and she was filming it all. And then he saw that she was filming it, and he's like, "Oh, you want to see some crazy shit?" And I was like, "Johnny, what are we doing?"
Yeah, I mean,
That doesn't really have to do with the movie. But that's what I think. Hot take.
I agree.
I agree.
Johnny Depp's a douchebag.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm out on this movie. I
I'm
actually
out, too.
wonder, like, I wonder if this. I kind of hope this will tank. Do you think it'll tank? Like, these movies have traditionally been like
Done pretty
very
well.
successful, right?
Yeah.
Like, people, even what is it, the fourth one, even people went to see.
Yeah,
I don't think there's been like a commercial.
No, I think
disappointment,
that.
has there?
No, I'm pretty sure they've even, like, as far as opening weekend go, their box office has kept increasing, actually, over time.
Okay.
But I think that because the reason I don't think it's going to tank, I think this one probably has the best ability to tank. But when I was in a theater and they showed the trailer for it, if you just listen, you can hear the plebs, they're everywhere. But there was this fucking...
The whispers of, oh my gosh,
so cool.
Orlando Bloom's back.
Yeah, so there was this girl, and as the trailer's going, it shows Javier Bardem, and she says, "Oh, that's the guy from The Walking Dead." It was not Javier Bardem. Like that finale when he, kills.
What's his name? Need
Jeffrey.
No, I was thinking of his name though.
Oh, the dude who died.
No, I was thinking of the actual guy at the.
I'm pretty sure his name's Jeffrey Dean something.
Okay.
But they do look very similar. But it's not
That's
Javier
actually really funny.
And like that's where she got. She's like,
keep getting
she's
them
like,
checks.
Yeah, and she's like, it's like that's the guy from The Walking Dead, and I was like, shit, this movie's gonna do really well.
Yeah.
Like when I first saw a trailer for Blended, it's that terrible Adam Sandler movie. I never saw it, but I know it's terrible with Drew Barrymore, and it had terrible commercials. And I just thought these previews are so terrible that people aren't going to go see it. They're finally going to wise up. But, like, the whole theater, Adam Sandler gets a parachute shoved up his ass or something, and the whole theater just busts out laughing. And I was like, where am I right now? I don't have a lot of faith. But, fuck it, I'm out. You're out? Okay. Oh, this is the one I was referring to when we were talking about Baywatch. Transformers: The Last Knight.
So
Yeah.
so for people that don't know anything about this this movie, so this is The Last Knight. So everything that I've heard is that it's the Optimus Prime he's the last of his kind. He's the last Autobot. There's no Decepticons, and it's kind of like I've heard it's like a quiet. There's almost. I think there's maybe like 3 or 4 lines of dialogue throughout the movie. It's Optimus Prime. He's sailing on his ship, and his ship is sinking, and he's trying everything he can do to keep from his ship from sinking, and making sure that he doesn't die. But
okay, a couple things there.
Couple things.
I think you're We Are Law. All is lost. Not the Last Night. Not All is Lost.
Oh, okay.
Robert Redford.
This isn't old Robert Redford.
No, this is not that.
Okay.
I'll just read what IMDb says. It says, humans and Transformers are at war. Optimus Prime is gone.
Okay,
but he's on the poster.
Couple things there. He's on the poster.
He's the only thing on the poster, so he's not gone. The key to saving our future lies buried in the secrets of the past, in the hidden history of Transformers on Earth. Terrible. So this is the first movie to come out after what was the last one? Who gives a shit? Fall of Extinction, whatever. Who gives a fuck?
The fate of the fate of the extinction.
Yeah. the fate of the last
You're just hoping
family.
to God that they go extinct, but
Right.
they don't.
But they didn't.
They missed one. Optimus lived.
Yeah, and after that, then they were like, the studio was like, all right, we're getting a writer's room together. We're gonna get a different director. We're gonna really work, and we're gonna try hard to make this And then, sure as shit, like 2 weeks into having the writer's room, Michael Bay's like, no, I'm directing it again.
They're like the Clippers of summer blockbusters. They're just running it back. It's like, all right, you know what? We got bounced in the first round again. Let's just run it back. Chris, Blake, DeAndre, let's go.
Yep.
You know, they're gonna make a lot of money. Okay, so you were saying earlier that this might be your pick to make all the money.
Yeah.
That's
Because Transformers historically, not this last one,
yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. The fourth one,
it still made a fuckload of money, especially overseas.
okay.
But it for sure didn't win the summer, but it got like second or third.
Okay.
But I still think people are dumb enough that I mean, I hope Baywatch beats it, but I don't know. Michael Bay is just good at making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
I mean, can't fault him there.
you can't.
Keep getting them checks,
Yeah.
Michael Bay.
He's
I'm
gonna out.
Moving on.
All right, here we go. Now this one, I'm gonna decide while we're talking about it because I don't think I've decided yet. But The Mummy, Tom Cruise, Universal's doing their monster franchise cinematic universe, and
I am so in.
okay, tell them why. It convinced me because I'm not out right now, but I'm at the point where I don't really know what to think. So, yeah, convince me.
It's kind of frustrating that I need to even convince you.
Do you want to go to a different podcast?
I mean, yeah, really. Like, we do this every summer, okay? This is what Tom Cruise does, okay? I mean, he could take over any IP, and he just, this is what Tom Cruise is, Like, he's done this so many times. I mean, he's even taken over IPs that he used to have and he left,
decided to
he's
come
just like
back.
Mission Impossible. He's like, you know what? That's actually mine. I'm gonna do that
Jeremy,
again.
You can
Jeremy
have
Renner.
it.
We'll see you later.
Second.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sure he like signed the contract for this, and he was like, as he was like busy, patting down the dirt on Brendan Fraser's fresh grave.
Yeah,
It's
I was
like,
gonna say he probably
like-
signed it with Brendan Fraser's blood.
Yeah. I can't wait for this movie. It looks ridiculous. It looks stupid. I was in on it from the second that Universal leaked the trailer without the music. That was like the best trailer I've seen in probably the last 5 years. So thank you, Universal. I am so in on this movie. I can't wait for the train wreck. It might not even be like that much of a train wreck, but even if it is, I can appreciate that. I love my boy Tom Cruise. I'm never gonna leave you.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing.
And secretly, Russell Crowe is in here. He just pops in. The thing is that the Mummy franchise before with Brendan Fraser was surprisingly fun. It was big, fun, dumb, whatever. But like this doesn't look like that, which is fine. It looks like it's taking it a little more seriously. But like I told you, the ending of one of the trailers. Now this is just the ending of a trailer, but it was of like the mummy, whatever her name is, and she's like summoning a sandstorm, and there's like locusts or whatever. And I'm like I just said to you, it looks like the same third act of every other big movie.
But this is a Tom Cruise movie. That's probably the first 15 minutes of this movie.
Ooh, good call. And he just
Tom
running away
eats up-
from
Tom
locusts.
eats up, ancient mutant sandstorm armies for before 9 o'clock every morning. That's what he does for breakfast, guaranteed.
You know what song should be playing? That's the song's called Sandstorm.
Yeah, I got you.
Good stuff. Funny jokes. Thanks, man.
Nice riff.
I'll probably see it.
In, baby.
All right, I'm in. Here we go. I'll let you go first.
Why's that? Because I hate all comic book movies.
That is exactly why. Wonder Woman.
All right, so
June
we're here.
2nd.
Is this our first comic book movie of the pod here? I'm thinking.
I think so, yeah.
So, all right, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. This is, I believe this is a prequel to the Fast franchise, where she got her start and she met her demise, because it didn't intentionally say she was Wonder Woman in the Fast franchise, but
They left it open.
they left it open for interpretation, and that's what I took away from it. So we all know where it's coming. She will eventually die in the Fast series, but we're leading up to that point. Her life before then. So
Right. It's interesting to see.
I don't know anything about this movie. I highly doubt that I will see it. Like I said, I'm just kind of, for as much as I dislike the Marvel movies, I think I'd probably 10 times sit through any one of theirs than one of a DC movie right now. The DC ones they're just painful to sit through. There's like no joy.
They're hard.
It's like watching like a mainstream version of Valhalla Rising on television with commercial breaks. Like it's like 4 hours long. It's like feels like edited. It's PG-13. There's no fun. There's no jokes. There's really no emotion, and it's just pretty terrible all around. So I don't know. That's my spiel on just about pretty much everything comic. Entailing. So what do you think? Is there anything I'm missing here? Because I don't know anything. Like maybe is there anything I should be excited about? Can I like?
Well, she's Princess Diana, princess of the Amazon. So basically, what you're missing is before she goes on to die with that gang of street racers.
Right.
She actually starts this small
Chevy S10.
or Chevy S10. She starts this small company. Ends up being this very successful website called Amazon.
Oh.
So it's kind of also an origin story of...
Right, yeah, it's like the Steve Jobs.
Right,
like
exactly.
There's Apple, there's Amazon.
Right, exactly. So this is... It's like a...
She's like a...
See, people don't see on the actual poster, it's Wonder, comma, woman. Like Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna see this movie, and DC movies are tough, but this one, like, do you remember the Squirrel Feed days when what was it, the summer of 2013?
Sure.
So 4 years ago.
Sure.
You and I were talking about who we would cast for the Wonder Woman movie. We had a short list, and we were debating it, and needless to say, Gal Gadot didn't make either of our lists. Not on the list. So it's just kind of fun, like, that part of it I want to see, just because, like, at that time we were, like, thinking about it. And the trailers looked good. People are saying they look amazing, but I don't know. I think they look fine. Chris Pine is good. I don't know. I'll see it. Hopefully, it looks more contained and more competently made than Batman v Superman, which doesn't take a lot to do.
Right.
But I'm in just because of that. I'm going to see it. So.
All right. Well, I'm way out. I need like 3 good movies in a row for me to even consider the 4th.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand.
There you go.
Oh.
Here we go.
All right. Hey, you go ahead.
Okay.
You know where I sit.
Spider-Man Homecoming. I think if I gave Old Legs the mic, he would say pretty much, yeah, he'd pretty much say the same thing as he just said. I'm in on this. Spider-Man was a great addition to Civil War. I'm glad they got him in there. He had a really fun part. And it showed a different side of Spider-Man than we've seen 1,000 times. This one, I really hope they don't just do the same origin story again. It looks like Tony Stark's going to be there a little bit more. But with them calling it Homecoming, it looks like they're going to focus more on him actually being like a 15-year-old or 16-year-old in high school. And having to do that other shit, which the movies really haven't touched on. Tom Holland was great as Peter Parker. Marissa Tomei was great as Aunt May. Spider-Man, like a lot of people when I was a kid, he was one of my faves. I'm going to see it. I'm excited for it. And
yeah, I'm really excited to see, how they played, the Uncle Ben's death. It's really interesting to see how they're gonna really, attack that. Because I feel like that's kind of like an aspect of the character that hasn't really been explored yet. It's
right.
like how did Uncle Ben's death, really affect Spider-Man, and does it still like sit with him today? Because
are they going to take a different turn? Where
I'd be really interested to see like if they have some like flashbacks or like
that could be interesting.
Or like he's like who did it?
Right.
Like
yeah.
Maybe like he could like use his powers to like kind of like find who did it.
Ooh, and then maybe you're like, I don't know if this guy's a hero.
Yeah, and it's just like it could be like a really interesting, just kind of like primal motivation that just like, I need to use my powers, I have, there could be like this thing with like responsibility too, where like, I have, he comes to this realization that he has this great power, and with great power comes great responsibility. Does that like, I don't know.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue that well, but
I don't know. Like maybe they could go somewhere in that direction.
I don't really like that. I would rather have them go with he just uses his powers to get girls and steal like beer with it.
Steal beer.
Like people are walking out of the liquor
just
store.
Like normal stuff.
Just normal stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I think. I think it'd be really interesting to go that direction. We'll see what they do, though.
Yeah, you may be right. We'll just have to see.
All right.
Here we go. Now, do you want to start on this one, or do you want me to go?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take this one. So, the next one, long-standing IP. This kind of brings us back. Was this? Oh, I suppose this was based off the book as well, too.
Was there a book first?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
War of the Planet of the Apes. Lord knows what number this actually is in the Apes canon.
Don't know.
But it doesn't really matter.
No.
So, surprisingly, this actually kind of almost fits in with the Fast franchise as like a franchise that's kind of like completely gone off the rails, been bad for a while, and then just like suddenly just gets good again. And now we're almost maybe probably into that territory where we could see kind of a drop off. Because I really enjoyed the reboot with Franco. The next one was good. Has there been 3 already, or is it the third?
This would be the third of the newest ones. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I enjoyed the first 2 from the reboot. I think, all things said, this has the potential to be another fun movie. I like this universe. I don't know. I guess there's not a whole lot to say, It's probably just going to be more of the same. Humans and apes fighting.
They don't like each other.
At some point in this series, the apes are going to have to win. Is this the one where just like
it looks like
the apes just definitively win?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Because we
it's
have
pretty
to
close
to that point. Because I mean, at some point, Charlton Heston's going to have to come along, and that's it, Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm hoping my hopes for this movie is that it's a definitive end, like the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't really be that thrilled with another. Oh, next time on Planet of the Apes. So
Yeah, no.
I tend to have that kind of feeling about almost everything I see. So
True. So you're in on this, right?
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. I'd like to see if this is the end. I'd like to see where it goes.
Yeah,
Even though we should know this is where it's going.
It has the feeling that it'll be the end, to me anyway. With these movies, so the first time I saw the OG Planet of the Apes from 1968, it was on when we had movie channels. It was on one of those, and I didn't even I was flipping through them. I wasn't even looking at what was playing, and it was just like these astronauts, and I was like, all right, I'll just watch it. So I went in with the most blind that I could. Just literally watching these guys walk onto this planet, and they're looking around. You're like, what is going on? They run into these wild humans, and you're like, what the heck? And then they get captured by these apes, and what the fuck? And it keeps going, and I loved the mystery of it. I love that movie. So that kind of lit the fire for me. And that was back in the day. And
Question. So Planet of the Apes, it's a bit like the Star Wars franchise. There's just there's knowledge that's almost inherent to all human beings. The finale to the original Planet of the Apes is
spoilers.
Damn you all, you blew it up, you blew it to hell.
Yeah.
That's inherent knowledge amongst people who have no idea what even the movie is.
Right. It's that iconic.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with Star Wars, Luke, I am your father. People that
don't
know anything about Star Wars know that Darth
Yeah.
Vader is Luke's father. Did you know prior to seeing it that was the ending of the movie, or was that a genuine surprise to you?
I knew of the Statue of Liberty thing. I know I'd seen that. It may have even been from Spaceballs when they parody it.
Yeah.
But I remember, the build up to that is Charlton Heston just takes one of the other human slaves who's super hot. She can't even talk, and he's like, "You're coming with me."
Yep.
But when they're on the beach, they one of the things is they're the apes are trying to say how there never was human civilization,
right.
And Charlton's telling them there was, and then they find this
the
human
Trump administration.
Right. Yes.
Alternative facts.
Right. Alternative facts.
Yeah. The apes were.
They presented alternative.
Far
facts.
to the right.
Yeah, they were very conservative.
Very conservative.
And they were building walls.
There's no global warming.
They
there
were building walls
human civilizations
around humans. Yeah.
They're.
He says, "I'm sure some of them are good people, but they're."
It's Russia is fine. Okay.
It's nothing's gonna happen. But one of the turning points was they find this doll, and then the apes were like, no, it's just a child's play thing. And then Charles like, then why did they make it talk? And that was a turning point. So then Charles like, whatever, I'm gonna leave with my slave girl. And they start walking down the beach, and then zoom out and you see the Statue of Liberty, and then he has his freak out and it's over. So I guess I kind of knew that was coming, but I didn't know the damn you all to hell, you maniacs, you blew it up. I didn't know all that, but so kind of yes, kind of no. But I did really like it, and then I liked it so much I bought on DVD the 2000 remake with Marky Mark, directed by Tim Burton, and I liked even better. I remember liking the costume design and stuff, but Mark was terrible, and the movie was terrible, and the ending was probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But so fast forward to the James Franco reboot, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I really liked it. It was an interesting take, and it was just a good movie. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I liked even more than the first one. It was really gritty. The only thing I didn't like about that one was I was like, I don't give a shit about these humans. Stay with the apes. I don't care what the humans have to say. But just the effects alone are so good. So I loved that one. And then just seeing the trailer for War of the Planet of the Apes, I think this might be my second most anticipated movie of the year.
Okay.
So
I agree with that.
I'm all in. And in the trailer, they show the little girl holding that baby doll that talks that
Sure.
they found in the first one in 1968.
That's why you brought it back.
That's
there.
why I brought it back.
Good.
So
Good. I
that
was getting a
wasn't
little
just
worried.
pointless.
I was getting a little
I was
worried.
just gonna recap the entire film for
was
you.
like, Oh no.
No, not again.
No.
Yes.
All right. Next one. Baby Driver. So I would say, out of all the ones that we talked about, this is maybe, I would say, amongst people who don't follow, the film, the industry close. You maybe haven't heard of this one. This is the newest Edgar Wright movie. Edgar Wright, one of our favorites.
By far.
One of our favorites. We love everything he does. This looks kind of... It looks pretty good. I really don't know what to say other than it's just a kid who wears headphones and drives around.
And
drives fast.
Drives fast. His
Yeah.
name's Baby.
I was going to say, this is exactly what I do
Yeah.
in the car. iPod all the time.
Yeah.
I know it's not safe.
Yeah. Except you drive a bike, not a car.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I don't really know a whole lot about it except for just the people in it. I see John Hamm with, a high fade in it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that was missing from my life.
It's the Pope, except he's young. I need a few more Manhattans in me before I can get that really gravelly
good.
that fucking Draper going. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. What do you have to say about it? I mean,
this one was a surprise. I didn't know,
kind of came out of nowhere.
it
Yeah,
did. Yeah,
I mean, you always know there's he's working on something,
mm-hmm.
And then you see like what it is, and it's like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, he's always been. Yeah.
no Simon Pegg in this one, right?
No Simon Pegg. I don't think.
Okay.
Nick Frost is in it either, but
Right.
I'm not
No,
sure.
I didn't see.
But Edgar Wright's just one of those guys who. He's just a great director, and he's just fun, and you just love his movies. And yeah, like we were saying, this kind of came out of nowhere. I was not expecting it. I saw the trailer, and I was like, this looks just so much fun. Looks really original. It's like, it just was kind of reminding me like Bubblegum Pop, just like
Right.
that type of whatever. And the cast looks great. It looks like just a fun movie. It doesn't have to be the next great thing. It just looks super fun, super original, and just really slick. And I'm so in. I can't wait. And it's fun because this is one where it's like we didn't have time to have expectations up for it. It's just here.
Right.
And it's like, I'm not like, the weight of the world isn't on this movie's shoulders. So even if it's not that great, it's like, oh, well, whatever. It's fun to see Edgar Wright direct. And
I have a feeling too, like we were talking about earlier, and I stated that, Baywatch could be that, big time action comedy.
mm-hmm.
This definitely looks like it has, that written all over
Mm-hmm.
it as far as like being slick, action, fun, comedy. Probably doesn't have like the ceiling commercial wise
Right,
as like
exactly.
a Baywatch does, and
Yeah.
Edgar Wright's movie, that's not really what he cares about.
Right.
But needless to say,
And
I
this
think
one
there's
hasn't had nearly as much marketing.
right,
behind it.
right, yeah. Needless to say, I think there's probably a higher floor on this movie than
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like Baywatch. Like
Yeah.
Baywatch could be fucking terrible.
And
like,
it'll
for all I
still
know.
make a lot.
Yeah. So that's why, yeah, this is gonna be. I think I'm pretty excited for this movie. So.
Same, definitely. All right, here we go.
Last but not least,
So I'm gonna hit this quick,
hit it.
if you will. Thor Ragnarok. Now Thor, he was probably my favorite Avenger, just from the comics and everything. I just love Thor. He's just cool, and the first Thor movie was good. Second Thor movie, I didn't really like that much. It did the bare minimum for me not to hate it. Thor in the Avengers movies, he was definitely better in the first one. Didn't have anything to do in the second one. But then with this third, so I just been waiting for like a really good Thor movie. And they announced Taika Waititi is going to be directing it. And Taika is like, I fucking love this guy. He's New Zealand. He's a New Zealander. Did What We Do in the Shadows, Eagle versus Shark. He was one of the producers and directed a bunch of Flight of the Conchords. Like, he's kind of that weird, quirky type. Just that really just quirky sense of humor that I fucking love. And when they announced he was going to do this, Hunt for the Wilder People I saw last year, which he directed, I really liked. And it's just that cool, different kind of pacing. And when they announced they're getting him to direct this, for some reason, I was like, that's a great fit. Because Thor is kind of like this mystical, otherworldly thing, and he's just kind of weird. And, like, the merging of the two, I thought could be really good. And, yeah, so kind of it looks like kind of road trip movie. Hulk's in it. They kind of said that it might be kind of a Planet Hulk thing, which it kind of looks like it's going to be. So I'm really pumped for this. Probably more pumped than I've been for a Marvel movie in a while. Because, like, a Marvel movie comes out, and I'm like, I kind of know what I'm going to get. It's going to be kind of cookie cutter and whatever. But, like, this one, I don't really know, but it looks really fun. The trailer just came out, and it looked great. And I'm all in, man.
Yeah. So when I saw the trailer for this, and I texted you, and I gave you, like, a little bit of a, hey, I kind of might be into this. And you texted me back, like, you need to lay off all those Coronas you've been drinking. Like, is this his phone has been hacked?
Yeah,
like, who is this?
I said who
and
is this?
yeah, so so I saw this, and so there's just, like, the kind of things that, like, I can't even really gripe about because it's just, like, consistently throughout all the Marvel movies. Like, I don't really like the look of them, and I get it. Like, it's, like, the studio that they're made in, they're all made in Atlanta. They're all, it's just, like, this
and
is...
the digital cameras they use, the colors aren't always...
It's just,
there,
it's just,
all
they boom, boom, boom. This is how they do
factory made.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get that part of it, but I do kind of appreciate the fact that it looks like they're able to adapt to what people like, even within, like, the last couple of years. Like, this, to me, like, without even having seen Guardians of the Galaxy, it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy 2.5 because that, essentially 2 will be out at this point, right?
I think that might be this summer too.
Yeah. So, it looks like that, and people liked Guardians. People will love Guardians too. And yeah, I could totally get on board with, Hulk, or, Hulk's in it, but Thor just, beating, progressively more ridiculous, monsters and beings, just kind of like a, Mortal Kombat style.
Yeah.
This kind of, like, ladder progression type thing. Like, that's cool, that's kind of what the character is. The character, like, swings his hammer at stuff,
Yeah.
And you add in, like, and I've come to, like, kind of get used to this, that, like, Marvel, they're just going to throw, like, just bags full of money at, interesting people to, like, dress up in these god-awful, ridiculous costumes, So I see Cate Blanchett, I'm like, all right. I like it. I see Tessa Thompson, I'm like, even more intrigued. Yeah. And then you just, the little cherry on top, the Jeff Goldblum there, and I'm like,
They when they were making this movie, they said we got to get Jerdo.
The cocktail they've created, it might be enough. It might be enough for me.
I'm gonna buy you a ticket for it.
I am strictly on the fence right now. I'm not hard out, which is almost always the case with these. So yeah, I thought it was pretty surprising. So if this is all, like, the same, which it might be, hats off to Marvel for tricking me.
Yeah.
But I do kind of want to see this.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to buy you a ticket so that you don't have to feel guilty, because I'd be giving Marvel the money twice over. You're welcome.
Thank you. That's my dream.
Yeah, that would be my dream. When I will say they have all looked similar and, like, but, like, one of the things like with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which you can tell just by the trailers, and then this movie, they're using they used a new red, I forget the model number, but red is like the name brand digital cameras. And the thing is, the picture quality on this the contrast is way better. And you can already see in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer, just like the colors are way more vivid and the blacks are much deeper, which in the other ones, they all kind of look gray and kind of bland. Where this one, and then with Ragnarok, those colors again just like really popping. So that's another thing. It's like, and I like that Marvel, because they were like switching up a little bit with Guardians and then Captain America: The Winter Soldier, doing a little different. But then they kind of started getting in their same old tricks. Ant-Man was good, but it was kind of the same. And then like, I don't know, Doctor Strange was good, but was still kind of the same. And now like with this, it looks a little bit different. Like you said, still Guardians of the Galaxy-ish, but like fun, spacey, and I'll take it, man. I'm pretty excited for that.
Fence.
And you're on the fence.
Optimistically, like I'm looking on.
But
looking on the Thor side of the fence more than I am, my own.
Right. That's good. I will say in the trailer though, when he's about to fight Hulk, didn't Hulk look just a little bit sad still from Avengers 2 when we last saw him? Sad Hulk driving off in the jet. Remember that
Sad
you love Sad Hulk.
Oh yeah, Sad Hulk.
And he looked a little sad in the trailer.
He had a smile on his face, like he had a lot on his mind.
Yeah. You got a lot on your mind. Smile through the pain.
Smile through the pain.
Joe reference. So. Wow, I think we're gonna see that. Yeah, and then that will pretty much. Those are a lot of the big ones. There are other. And the other nice thing about the summer, there are movies that surprise you, that come out of nowhere that you weren't expecting. Usually there's one good comedy that stands above the rest. Probably Baywatch at this point. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. Yeah, the summer's a good time. Get out there and see these movies. And hit us up when you do. Let us know which ones you liked. If we swayed you in either way, tell Old Legs how he's wrong about most everything and how I'm right about most everything. Hit me up on Twitter at LukeLarson89. You can find us at L Squared Podcast on Twitter or on Facebook, L Squared Podcast. You can listen to this on SoundCloud. Otherwise, obviously, we're on YouTube. Just look up L Squared Podcast or just Luke Larson. The other thing I wanted to throw out is we started back up our website, world-89.org, or is it just world89.org? Is there a dash? World89.org. We're an organization. We're blogging. We're doing posts. Re-energizing it. And we're back.
We're back.
That's going to be the home for these podcasts. We're going to put them all on there. Follow us on there. We're going to be doing a bunch of content. I'm super pumped. Let's do it.
Peace.